Hello and welcome to Breakfast All Day. Alonso and Christy and Matt here. They saw The White Tiger, which is now streaming on Netflix. I didn't see it, but they'll tell you all about it. Alonso, I believe you're describing The White
I
Tiger.
will. Yeah, this is the new film from Ramin Bahrani, who did 99 Homes and Man Push Cart and Goodbye Solo. It is based on the Man Booker Prize award-winning novel by Aravind Adiga. I'm sorry if I'm getting that name wrong. Who apparently the two of them are old friends, and in fact, the novel is partly dedicated to Ramin Bahrani. So it worked out that he made the film. So basically, it is a satirical tale about social ascension in India, which is a very tough country to commit social ascension in because the caste system is fairly rigid. And this is about a guy who comes up from poverty and realizes that his best way to get out of his life and surroundings is to become the driver for a wealthy guy who is the son of basically the landlord who runs the whole village. Our hero's name is Balram. He's played by Adarsh Gourav, who's in My Name is Khan. He goes to work for Ashok, played by Rajkummar Rao, and his wife, Pinky Madam, played by Priyanka Chopra Jonas, who is also one of the producers. And this movie is basically about like how terribly he is treated by his employers, how much they exploit him, and how he sort of is kind of driven to extreme measures to continue to survive and to thrive himself. As the movie begins, he is a wealthy entrepreneur and he is telling his life story in an email to the premier of China, who is coming to visit India. And like the movie A New Order, which was on my top 10 list this past year, which will be opening pretty soon, I hope, in the US. This is a movie about how like rich people better get their act together and be afraid of the poor people who they are stepping on, because if not, things are not going to go well for them. I found this movie really sharp and funny, and it's a dark satire, and it is about awful behavior, but it is also about the world as it exists today, and I think it's put together really well. I liked it a lot.
It is put together really well in that it jumps back and forth in time a lot. Yeah. And it does that in ways that are always in service of the story. The way it's structured is what I liked best about it, because it does have a lot of flashbacks to his youth in poverty and flashing back to how he got himself where he is. Because it begins, with him being wealthy and successful. But it bugged the shit out of me that like one of the first things this does is almost like the tantamount to the record scratch. And you're probably wondering how I got here. I mean, he says something like that. It's not verbatim, but it's something very similar. I'm like, really? Are we doing that? And I don't think it's meant in a tongue-in-cheek, self-referential way. Like I think they mean
They're just doing it. You're right. It didn't bug me, but yeah, that is sort of baked into the structure here. Bahrani co-edited the film with Tim Streeto.
Yeah, no, and the thing is that you're always able to follow it, and the back and forth structure feels totally germane to the story that they are telling here, and it really adds a lot of momentum to it. Yeah. I liked Adarsh Gourav in this because he's called upon to play various versions of the same character and yet maintain that consistent through line of like an ingenuity and an ambition. And that has to be the structural thing that, defines him, but he has to also evolve.
Yes.
And he does all of that. So, and he's on screen like pretty much the entire time.
It's a great performance, and I thought that was really thrilling. What I also like about this movie is that it feels like a direct response to the sort of like Horatio Alger bootstraps myth that we always we've told ourselves as long as there's been literature. This notion that like if you just work hard enough, the world can be yours, and it's kind of like sometimes you have to like work hard, and also maybe there needs to be a guillotine in the background. Like, there are a lot of things that are standing in the way of the hard worker from getting anywhere in the world. And so, I love how ruthless it is in sort of depicting like, the rich people, they go to like, one of the big cities and they stay in this gleaming, like like jewel like high-rise hotel, and their employees live in the garage, literally live in the parking garage, and have these little cubicles set up where they get to be. Just like it's bonkers. But you know, I was even, you know, one of the things that drives me crazy about these sort of flashbacky movies is like, well, we know the end point, so getting there had better be interesting, and getting there is really interesting with this one, I thought. And so yeah, I thought this movie worked really well. I didn't know where it was going to take me and how it was going to get there, but I love what it has to say, and I love how it says it.
Yeah, it's a little superficial for me. It's a little superficial for me in the way it like dips its toe in the squalor, and then also depicts like the flashiness of the wealth in ways that are kind of obvious. Like I just felt I wanted like a little more like texture or realism to both sides of that somehow. It felt like a little flashy and a little fast. I don't know, which I realize contradicts my argument that it's cut really well. But within the substance of each scenario, it just, I don't know. I wanted more. It just felt a little like light and a little superficial.
I don't know. I liked the parallels of like, you know, the grand house and then the shitty servants' quarters, you know, and the like I said, the opulent hotel and the parking garage, and the people who are literally just like living on the streets, and then like the, you know, the gleaming SUVs that zoom past them without noticing. Like, I don't know. I thought it balanced that stuff really well without being like sledgehammer about it, but just being like, this is the reality we're dealing with, folks, you know.
Priyanka Chopra is really good in it. Priyanka Chopra Jonas, I'm sorry. I should give her by her full married name, because she is called upon to do more than just show up and be beautiful and glamorous. And there's some complexity to her character. Yeah,
like her character is representing this whole notion of like, she's from the West. She was raised in Brooklyn. She's supposed to have a sort of more enlightened viewpoint about these differences. But when push comes to shove, she is just as happy to like grind this servant to dust as these other rich people are, because it's convenient and it's the easiest way out for them. So yeah, I think her trajectory is very important in depicting the various sort of the old school, you know, rich people versus the newer rich people who maybe aren't that different once you dig a little beneath the surface. So
right, as enlightened as she is, she's still beholden to, that's all I'm gonna say.
The nouveau riche are also assholes.
Yes, they're still riche. So check this out. It's on Netflix, and Bahrani is a filmmaker I've always found really interesting. I think his early indies are great and like all populated with completely unknown actors. And then even as he's moved into like working with people like, you know, 99 Homes started Michael Shannon and Andrew Garfield and Laura Dern. He's still, I think, really good at working with actors, and really has interesting things to say about wealth inequality, whether he's talking about like, you know, the poorest of the poor, or just talking about like kind of working class Americans trying to get by. He has a whole film about like farms that isn't maybe his best, but, you know, I think it was one of the first films where we had to sort of think about Zac Efron seriously as an actor, and, you know, and not just like a Disney kid. So yeah, he's had a really fascinating career, and I think this movie is along the lines of what he's been doing, but going in a new direction as well.
He walks the walk.
Totally.
His filmmaking choices. So I'm saying 6.5.
I said 8. I was really pleasantly surprised with. I mean, I'm a fan of Bahrani's, but I you know, it still took me someplace new, so I dug it.
I think you said 8.5.
8.5. Yes. Sorry. Again, the numbers don't mean anything.
They don't. Our own internal numbers. So our number is 7.5. Do you want to abolish numbers entirely? Are you suggesting, Matt, right here, that we abolish numbers entirely?
In life, yes.
Okay.
Yes, no more numbers across the world.
I got no problem with that. I'm sure we'll hear about it if we do. But anyway, because then you have to listen to the whole review. Anyway,
I give the idea numbers a 0.
Boom. Thanks for watching, everybody. Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us at BeFastAllDay on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook, and check out our Patreon page. We have some fun stuff going on this week. We are recapping WandaVision. We're recapping Bridgerton, and because our viewers voted on it, our subscribers rather, will be doing a classic review this month of John Frankenheimer's 1962 all-timer, The Manchurian Candidate.
One of my favorite movies of all time.
It is one of the best. So anyway, until next time, take care of yourselves and each other, and meet us back here. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye.